Then let me share my screen. Okay, so like I promised yesterday, before we start, I would like us to just talk on a few touch on a few topics before we continue. Right? You can't can you guys hear me? Please, please do off your mic, your mics, then your videos, because so that it doesn't put too much load on people whose internet are slow and those who don't have data. All right. So some of the or some of the concepts I want to touch on today. One of them is accessibility. So I'm going to use kind of illustrations to explain some of these topics. Sorry, guys, just give me a minute. I'm coming. Just a moment. I'm coming. Just let me get. All right. All right. Sorry for the cut in transmission, I would say. So let's get right to it. How many how many of us have smartwatches? So I want to explain the term accessibility or how accessibility works. How many of us have smartwatches? All right. So do you know that you can visit a website from your watch? All right. Okay. That's one point. I want you to keep that in mind. So talking about accessibility, right? Um, have you asked yourself how do blind people visit the web or the internet, or how those who have like hard hearing or difficulty in hearing visit or use the internet, right? So there is this specification about building like a specified way that you use to build websites to enable those who don't see, those who don't hear, and yeah, basically the two set of persons because those who can speak can actually uh, they can see what they what they need to see, but those who don't see, those who don't hear, the specification to allow them to be able to use the internet is what we call accessibility. So there are ways that allow you to do those things, right? That allow you to build for them so that they will be able to use the internet. And that's what we call accessibility. Later on, we are going to be learning about all. But I just want you to have all these things in mind and know, okay, that these things actually exist, right? The second point I want us to look at are frameworks. So, what are frameworks? Frameworks are, uh, I would call them ready to go packages in programming. So, as a developer or as a programmer, a web developer, building from scratch, we are trying to teach people how to use HTML and CSS. Quite all right. Building from scratch can be very difficult. Please mute your mic. Please mute yourselves, please. Mi- Miracle, miracle, please mute yourself. Thank you, thank you. Please let's all please. As I'm coming, I want to. All right. Sorry, give me a moment. All right. Okay, can you guys see my screen now? Okay. All right. So when we talk about frameworks, I like to see them as like ready-made structures, right? So it becomes, especially when you are building something, is your background, this background, whose background is making this noise? Whose background? Matthew, please mute yourself. Thank you very much for that. Okay. So so when I talk about when I talk about frameworks, I see frameworks from a point of view where they've already designed a lot of things for you, and as a developer, you have options. You have options to use those particular stuff that have been designed for you. So take for instance, what's the best way to go about this? Building blocks, like all these building. Okay, okay. Let me share the screen again. All right, all right. Can you see it now? You should start seeing it. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. So from I'm talking about frameworks, right? So they are already made like structures. So I wanted to use an example. Building blocks you buy for children, right? They you don't have the option of like designing, okay, how this block is going to use, but you just take the blocks you have been given already to build new stuffs, and that's what frameworks look like, right. So you have like JavaScript frameworks, and then you have HTML and CSS or CSS frameworks. Now JavaScript frameworks, you have things like React, Vue, um, Angular, a lot of them. These have they've already done a lot of things for you under the hood. It's just for you to now fix one or two things and you have your website ready to go. So it's like way easier to build websites with frameworks than it is if you are building from scratch, right? For for CSS frameworks, you have things like Bootstrap. And if let's say if there's anybody here who has already used Bootstrap before, you would understand that Bootstrap is like very easy. Just put a div. We still explain all these things, right? Just put a div and you put one class to it, and automatically you have your a card or a profile card or something like that. But just see that it makes work easier for you. After learning CSS like the hard way or the long way, we are going to teach you how to make use of this Bootstrap. With Bootstrap, you can build your site like if it's going to take you like 1 week to build a website, with Bootstrap it should take you like 3 days or even two to do the same thing because it becomes way easier. Then we have preprocessors. Preprocessors are basically CSS processors, and what they do is writing out CSS can be tasking, right? So each preprocessor has like a specific way you can write your CSS. So one of the next topic we are going to treat in free code camp has to do with nesting, right? So one of the preprocessors, what it does is instead of writing out okay h1 and the child inside, after writing h1, you write h1 and the child inside of it. It just gives you the opportunity to kind of nest each of them, and then it runs it or it compiles the CSS and brings out the original CSS. So it makes writing CSS way much easier. They don't give you the templates. They don't do anything. That's the difference between it and the CSS framework. They don't make it like they don't give you pre-made stuff to use, right? You write it by yourself from scratch, but it makes it the processors makes it way much easier to to use, right? The next topic I want us to talk about is REST. Let me type out the full meaning. We have representational. So REST and REST APIs. Let me add it to the back. So REST is just like how the network communicates, representational state transfer. Just on a high level explanation, let's not go deep into it. It's just how communications goes over the internet. Remember, internet is a connection of networks, right? So REST states the the communication, like it lays down rules on how communications uh, work, right? So you have this REST method or REST network communication. It has different methods. You have get, you have post, you have patch, you have a lot of them. We still get to those when we get to JavaScript. But just know whenever you hear about REST, it's talking about a communication on a network, right? Now, you always hear about it with APIs. Now, API stands for application programming interface. Yeah. Let me accept someone. Okay. So either application program interface or application programming interface. So an example of this is I have my website, right? And all I do is give out data about how to make money or the current price of Bitcoin. That's the only thing I do, and I was written in C++. plus plus. And you, as a web developer, you need to build your own websites in a different way, or probably you want to show those data in a different manner, or in a different, you want to structure the data very differently. Now, there needs to be a way for the website that you are building to communicate with my own site that is meant to provide the information for you. Now, let me just use something that might be familiar to everybody. Uh, the Bitcoin charts, right? Now, most of the sites we see don't actually, they are not the people that like have the information about that chart you see on their website. They communicate with another program, another website, or another program someone wrote and stored on a different server. Now, for the two of them to be able to communicate, for you to be able to get that data from another person's project or another person's site, you need an interface. You need to show it somewhere that, okay, you can talk with this. And that's what APIs do. API is basically just an interface for two programs or two websites to be able to communicate with each other. One of the projects we are going to build is probably build a site that generates random jokes, right? Or build a site that generates random people and show their profile. Now, to be able to do that, you need to communicate with a database or a server that has a lot of data. So you need their API to be able to, for your own site to be able to talk with their own site. Without that, you can't use their data. And that is what APIs do. And that's what APIs do. Hope I'm making sense, please. All right. All right. So the the next one is okay. Okay, yeah, I'm recording it. I'm recording it. I'm recording it. So someone said he has a question. I can't hear you. Is it me or is it? Sorry, guys. Can you hear me? Okay. So who was asking the question? Okay. So all right, I can't I did get the question. Hello? Who was asking a question? Yeah, so the API itself is the interface, but REST defines how the two websites communicate. It defines the rule of the communication. Do you understand? So it defines the rule of the communication. The API itself allows the communication to happen. So it's just like the way we are discussing now, right? The way we are discussing now, we can talk because we have ears, we have a mouth, and everything, right? But there are rules that I need to adhere to for you to be able to understand what I'm saying. So if I start saying some things like blah 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 blah, 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 like it doesn't make any sense to you, or I can even start speaking French or Latin, and you won't understand like a bit of what I'm saying. So it's because you don't understand the rule. We can communicate, yes, but you don't understand what I'm saying because we don't have the same set of rules governing the language that we are speaking. So the rest aspect, that's the representational state transfer, defines how we communicate or the method of communication. While the application interface, programming interface defines, okay, like makes it possible for the communication to happen. Hope I'm making sense. All right. All right. Okay, so the next step is responsiveness. When we are starting, I asked a question. Do you know that you can access the internet or a browser with your smartwatch? So, as a front-end dev or as someone who is building websites as a web developer, you should think about your website, not just about people who are going to view it or use it on a laptop, on a big screen, or on their mobile phone. You have to think about your site uh, in terms of people who are using tablets, people who are using like very slim phones, right? People who are using mobile watches or smart watches, and that's what responsiveness is. So there is this, ideology in web development called mobile first. So mobile first is basically built for mobile devices. Have devices first in mind, like built for them first before you actually start building for big screens. So it's something you have to keep at the back of your mind that whenever you are building a website, you are not building it just for people who are using laptops or people who are using phones. But there are other screen sizes, which is the key word here, screen sizes that you also have to optimize your websites for. Now, now, the other the last topic I want to touch on before we move into like free code camp proper is cross browser development. Now, most of us on this call are using Chrome, right? And the whole Google Meet, it's by Google, right? And it's optimized for Google. The site is optimized for Firefox. It's optimized for Edge, and any other browser you decide to build on. Now, the reason why this is even a thing in programming is that there are some features that might be available in Chrome, and you wouldn't find it in other browsers. Some features might be available in Firefox, but it's not available in Chrome on Chrome. So whenever you are building a website, and this happens mostly with JavaScript and CSS. So whenever you are building a site, you should also have in mind that you want your website to be able to display properly or the way you want on different platforms. So you need to have this in mind whenever you are developing a website. So before we continue, I don't know if there's any question. I can see some hands are raised. Is there any question? Okay, good evening. Yeah, I'm listening. If there is no question, then I will now continue to free code camp. All right, Abraham, your hand is raised. Okay. Roland. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Yes, I can. Okay. All right. Who else has questions so that I will know what I can answer all of them once. Okay, first two. Hello. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, these are concepts you should like have in mind or understand as a web developer. You understand? I just wanted to explain this before we move on. Why I actually said we should have this call is yesterday we are just able to do up to step 6 in the free code camp we are using, right? So I decided, okay, today let's see if we can get to probably 15 or 20. But before we start, I said let me explain some of these concepts so that you'd have them in mind as time progresses. You will meet them, definitely you will meet them in your career or as you continue learning. So I don't want it to be like a totally new topic to you by then. So you'll be like, okay, we've heard this and I already have an idea of what this is. I just gave you like a high level, a high level explanation of this concept. When the time comes, we will deep dive into them. So for the person that said, okay, I should explain the cross browser development again. As a web dev, you need to, okay, answer your question, ask your question. All right. FreeCodeCamp doesn't have an API. Not every site has an API, and I don't. I like FreeCodeCamp. I don't think they have any API. Like I have not basically searched or looked for any of their APIs. All right. Yeah, yeah. This is on their website. This is on their website. All right. So let's. So for let me just explain this cross browser. All right, Jeremiah. Sorry. They normally specify it. There is always the sites do have like documentations. Then you can see API documentations there. Yeah. So you see, some sites do have like internal APIs, right? APIs that only their websites use, and it's not available to people outside. This is another thing you have to know. But when I'm talking about API, I'm not talking about internal. I'm talking about public APIs, APIs that people outside their site will be able to use. So let's go into free code camp. I think we've spent almost 30 minutes explaining this stuff. So in step six, here in step six, we have in the previous step, yes, you can. No, the attendance have not been taken. Let me see. Miriam, are you on the call? Miriam, are you on the call? Probably she's yet to join. Okay. All right. All right. Let's let's continue, please. Huh? So if you're not speaking, please mute yourself if you're not speaking. Wait. Let's take
Please mute
turns.
your mics. Mute your
Let's take
mics.
turns.
In any case, that doesn't mute the mic. What is this? I think
You don't know how to go about what, sorry? I didn't get what you said. Okay. Okay, you don't know what to do. It's like you just joined. It's like you just joined. Okay. I catch you. Yeah, I'm coming to you. Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. I catch you. The truth is we can't employ everybody. Let me just make it clear. We can't employ everybody. And the only thing we are promising you is that we are going to get you job ready, right? Getting a job in the tech space is equally a job on its own. You understand? You have people who apply for hundreds of jobs every day before they are even called for interview to like 10 or 5. So what we are promising you is that we are going to get you job ready. We are going to do our best to get you job ready, but you have to also put in efforts from your own end. So we are going to work on your branding as a developer. We are going to work on teaching you how to, in case you want to go into freelancing, probably sites and places you can source for jobs and all this stuff. That's what we are promising you. So I think we should get right into what we are meant to do today. For the person who just joined, I think I will send the video. I've not actually done that. I was editing it earlier today, but I'm not done with the editing yet. The video for yesterday, I will post it. Then you have to go through it and understand what we are doing. So we don't have to be going back and forth. Please off your mic if you are not speaking. Off your mic if you are not speaking. All right, Chika, Chilaka. Okay, Abraham, is it the same thing? Okay, Chilaka, I will answer you very soon. Yes, Abraham. Yeah. These are questions I would have to answer at the end of the presentation today. So we're already losing time. This is like 35 minutes gone. The questions, the questions you have, is it something we can answer like after we finish with free code camp? Please, after free code camp, then I will answer all questions. Just drop them in the comment section, and please don't like overload the comment section with unnecessary chats. Just drop questions so that. All right. So in step 6, right? They said in previous step you put H1, H2, and P element inside the main element. This is called nesting. So here is what it means, right? Nesting is it, it comes from the idea of a parent and a child, right? So if if a tag, or if these tags, if a number of tags are inside another tag, so like the way this main has the opening tag here, and you have other tags inside of it before the main is closed, right? You say that this main tag here is the parent to all these tags. So H1 is a child of main tag, H2 is a child of main tag, the P tag is a child of the main tag because they are inside the main tag, and this is what is called nesting. So you can get continuous nest, like continuous nest. You can have like a section inside the main, then you now have like H1 inside the section. Now, tags that are children of another tag. So the way H1, H2, and P are the children of these main tags now, of this main tag now, you call these ones siblings. So it's just like your parents and yourself. Your dad and your mom are your parents, right? So you see them as the opening and the closing tag, while yourself and all your siblings are the children, right? So it's just the same analogy that they are using when it comes to nesting, especially in HTML, right? So the task here is the H1 element and H2 and the comment are indented two spaces more than the name. Use the space bar on your keyboard to add two more spaces in front of element. So this doesn't have any semantic, like this doesn't have any visual effect on what you are doing. It's just to make your code readable. So you are not seeing my screen. Wow. Na network. It's network. So just try. All right, guys. Please. Let's continue. Let's continue. All right. So yeah, yeah. So the task is to make this tag be in the same line. Is to make this tag be in the same line with the H1 and the H2, so that when you are looking at the code, you now know, okay, oh, that these elements here are the children of this main tag. So I can use a tab to do it, and use two spaces to achieve the same thing. So on this free code camp, one tab, like if you click on tab for those who are using their laptop, if you click on tab, it gives you equivalent of pressing your space bar two times. But for those of us who are using our phones, right, you use the space bar and you press it twice for you to get the desired result. Now let's take, if you are somebody, Clinton, please mute yourself. Thank you. So let's check our code and see if we got or if you did what they are asking. I think my network is a bit slow. Oh, Clinton, please mute yourself. Kelvin. So, okay, mute yourself, please. Mute yourself, please. So, yeah, we got, yeah, okay. Mute yourself. Thank you. Thank you. So, you can see we passed the test, right? So, for those who had issues with this particular task, all you needed to do was just press your space, the space button or the space bar 2 times, and you are good to go, right? So let's move to number 7. All right. So in number 7, we are we are tasked with adding an image. We are tasked with adding an image. So let me explain this again. Yesterday, I explained something about tags. I basically said that there are two sets of tags. There are non-self-closing tags and self-closing tags. So this step 7 now explains it to us, right? A tag for an element without a closing tag is known as a self-closing tag. So H1 has a closing tag because as you can see, this is the opening and this is the closing. H2 has the same. The P tag is also like that. But a good example of self-closing tag is the image, right? With the image tag, you're able to add images to your site. So I believe your images are appealing to look at. So with image tag, you'll be able to add image. But the most important thing to notice is that images are self-closing. So add an image element below the P element. So we have something like this. This. So this is what a self-closing tag look like. So another self-closing tag you can think about is the BR. BR adds line break, like it adds a break to a word, or if you want to add like a space between two paragraphs or between two p tags, you can use BR. But in this instance, we are tasked with adding an image tag. So this is what a self-closing tag looks like, and this is how you add an image. There are other things that we are going to add to this image to be able to put in the image proper. Let's submit and see. As you can see, we passed. So let's submit and go to the next challenge. Now, this brings us to another very important topic, right? Which is attributes. Attributes. HTML attributes are special words used inside the opening tag of an element to control the element's behavior. Now, as you can see with the image tag, right? It doesn't have there is no way to specify where your image is located. Now, with attributes, you add extra information to elements. You add extra information to elements, which enable you, just like they said, control the behavior. So I can add source, I can add style. There are a lot of attributes you can add. You can add name. This comes in handy if you are using it with JavaScript. You can add name. You can add class. You can add style, right? So these are all attributes that you can add to a specific element. But to image, this SRC is specific to images and videos. So you specify the part that you want to, that like the source. SRC means source. So the source of the image you want to display. That's what basically this SRC means. And the way attributes work is that it works in a key in a name value pattern, or you can call it a key pair, right? Name value. So it has a name and it has a value. With the source attribute, you have SRC, and this is how you put in the value. This is how you specify the value with two quotes surrounding it. So I can't just come and do this. I can't just come and do this. This is going to break my code, right? I must put this quote around it. And and mind you, it's not a must, it's going to be this double quote. It can be the single quote. It can be the single quote, right? Let me admit in someone. So it can be the single quotes that you are using. So this is it for attributes. This is like a brief introduction into attributes. They are just special. They are just ways to tell the HTML or the browser, okay, this is more information about this particular task, about this particular tag. You understand? Now, the question you might ask is, why is the image not showing up? Right? This is because the URL that is provided here is wrong. So if I copy this URL now and paste it into somewhere, into my browser, it's not going to bring up any image, and that's why it is broken. Now, the next tag, let me just predict, but the next tag they are going to talk about, or the next attribute they are going to talk about, is going to be the alt, right? So the alt tells the browser, okay, in case this image is broken, I want you to put this text here. And this works well with SEO, or search engine optimization. So you are always advised to put in this alt wherever you add an image tag. We are still going to get to that. So I'm just like a little bit ahead of myself here. So let's just remove it. Let me just show you what it does. So this is what it basically does. So if the image link is wrong, so the text that I put in here will show beside this broken image icon. So it's always to put in. So if this image is meant to link to uh, the the Fire Academy logo, I can just put in Fire Academy here, right? Or if it is a working site, I can just say, right? So this is another attribute that helps very well when it comes to image tags. So let's check our code. Oh, sorry. This is the URL that is required of us. So we have seen with a URL that doesn't have any image. Now this is a URL that has an image to it. So this is it. This is what it looks like, right? Let's check our code, and we've passed. Hope you guys are following. Hope everyone is following. Okay. All right. Okay. Where is the issue? All right, Anderson. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's not a must you put this that slash. I forgot to mention that. It's not a must for self-closing tags. It's not a must you put the slash, but it's just like how like it's just a good practice to add it. You understand? All right. All right. Yes. Yes. Now we are still going to come to that, right? So if you are working with your gallery, you have that it mainly works. Your gallery, like inside your phone or inside your system, works mainly if you are making use of your local machine to test your applications, right? Now you now be able to do like localhost slash C drive, like for those who are using Windows, it can be like localhost or C drive uh, colon slash slash to the link, right? But when you're working with forms and you want to upload your image, it's going to pick it from this particular place I just mentioned now. So something like this. Let me just cut out this. So you have something like this, right? And or if it is a D drive, you have D for those who are on Windows. And this I'm using Mac, so this might not work. So you have link to. So this is how it's going to work. This works especially if you are making use of uh, if you are working on your local machine, that you are not making use of the internet, like your site is not online, right? Because if your site is online, if your site is online, that means when you are saying okay, pull from C drive, it's going to pull from the C drive that you have on the server where your file is being hosted, right? But if you are working with a form, it becomes a different case. The input, form input, which you are going to get to. Can you guys hear me? All right. And okay, okay, yeah, 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 yeah. I think the screen stopped present. Let me share it again. All right, so it should be up any moment. All right. So when you are working with forms, it becomes a different case, right? Because you can the form, the input form has a way of picking the files from your file system. Then you can now work to upload it to a server where you can access it with a link like this. I don't know if I answered your question. All right. So let's move on. Let's okay. I don't think we've done this. Yeah. So this is talking about the alt tag I just mentioned, right? So the alt attribute, not the alt tag. So all image elements should have an alt attribute. The alt attribute text is used for screen readers to improve accessibility and is displayed if the image fails to load. So yeah, this makes another point I want to touch on. Earlier on, when I was explaining some of the concepts, I talked about accessibility, if you all can remember. Now, this alt tag makes it possible. So if someone who doesn't see, like a blind person, is going through your site, right, the person can't be able to see the image, but once the site reader, they use something called site reader. Once the site reader comes to the image, well, the first thing it does, it looks for it looks for the alt attribute on the image tag. So if there is an alt attribute, it calls out, like it reads out what is in the alt attribute and not at the actual image itself. So it helps with accessibility. You understand? Then we've also seen the place where it's displayed if the image fails to load. So let's do this. Mute yourself. Mute yourself. Please mute yourself. So you have the alt attribute, right? And they said a cute orange cat lying on its back. So if I make a mistake here, let's see. So I've broken the link. I've broken the link. As you can see, this alt text comes out here. So somebody who is the person, like the person going through the site, to know, okay, this is a broken image link, oh, but this is what is meant to be here. So it's always good to be descriptive with your alt attribute text, and it's always good. It's a very good practice to always add it when you are writing your code. So we've passed the test, we submit, and we go to the next challenge. All right. So step 10, we have another tag that they want us to talk about, right? Don't worry, for those who their networks are not bad. Sorry, for those who their networks are bad, we would definitely share the video with you. I think that would be better. All right. So if you have your question, let me. Sorry. Yes, yes. Miriam, please, if you have the attendance link, just post it for them, please. I think this is almost there. So now, yeah, we'll have to fill. We now fill the link. Yeah. So the next tag that they want us to talk about is the anchor tag. Yes, yes. So the next tag we are talking about is the anchor tag, or you can call it the link tag. So if you come on the website, you see like a link, a text that has a different color, and when you click on it, it takes you to another site or another page, right? They are called anchor tags, and they are non-self-closing tags. So they have opening and they have closing. The way it works is you have just let me just type it out so that you can see it, right? So you have this. Sorry, you have this. This is what an anchor tag is basically, or what a link tag is. Then you can now put in your text. You can now put in your text in the middle of it. So within this thing, you can just put in your text. So that links to. All right. So let's just put a text. So this is a link, right? This is a link. This is what an anchor tag do. But like the image tag, it doesn't necessarily do anything until you use attributes to tell it, okay, this is where I want you to take this person once they click on this particular link, right? So if I take this, the attribute that tells the browser, okay, where they should, like, the browser should direct you to, is no longer this src or the source attribute, but the href, right? Honestly, I don't even know the full meaning of href. Yeah? Okay, okay. So href stands for hypertext reference. right? So you put in href, then you can then put a link, and as you can see, it changes the image, like the image color, and it gives it like a different look from the p tag. It changes the look, it underlines it, gives it a color blue. So if I click on this now, if you can see, I don't know if you can see the left bottom of my screen, you see freecatphotoapp.com there. So it's telling you that if you click on this, I'm going to take you to this particular link, right? So this no, don't worry. So this is all right. Yeah, yeah. I said if you can, I'm not sure you can see up to that point. I think the this thing cuts it. But don't worry, just know once you click on this particular link, this place my cursor is on right now, right? It's going to take you to another website. There are other attributes that we can specify, like targets, right? Targets helps you deal with how you like the behavior on when you click on the link, right? So if you click, if your target is blank, which means take me to a blank tab once I click on this link, right? Then there is the other value. If you click on it, it opens it in that same tab that you are in, right? But this is like not where we are heading towards. Just know that these are attributes that you can add to some of these tags to give it more meaning, or to improve the functionality of that particular tag. So for the task, there shouldn't be any text within this, which means it's not going to show up on the page. Which means it's not going to show up on the page. So let's check our code and see. This is 10 minutes after 9. Once it's 9:20, I will stop presenting and I'll take every question you have. Yeah, Miriam will be sending it very shortly. Sorry, guys, I'm coming. Except you propose the link. Not to include. All right. Okay, sorry. The link will be posted very shortly. Blaze will be posting it. It's in attendance. They order this one. No worries, no worries. If you sign attendance, so let's submit and go to the next challenge. So we are at step 10 now. Let's see if we can get to 20 before we get to 9:30, because this is a 1 hour 30 minutes call. So the link's text must be placed between the opening and the closing tag of an anchor tag. So this is basically what I explained earlier. So you just place the link in between the tags, and the link, that text is going to show up. So let me just do this. I think this is what they want us to post in. So as you can see, link to cat pictures. So if you click on this, it's going to, by default, this link is going to load up on the current tab. Like this particular page I'm on like now will change to go to this freecatphotoapp.com, right? But if I specify target underscore blank, it's going to take me to a new tab. So let's check our code, submit and go to the next challenge. Hope you are understanding what I'm explaining, please. All right. All right. All right. So, all right. So in the previous step, that would have to be your network, but no, the attendance will be the attendance will be posted. All right. So for step 12, right? Uh, in the previous step, you turned the words link to cart into a link by placing them between opening and closing anchor tags. You can do the same inside. You can do the same to words inside of an element, such as a p element. So, the earlier I explained a parent tag and the children, right? Now, what they are trying to say is I can put uh, this a tag or this link tag, the anchor tags, inside of a p tag. I can put it inside of any other tag. I put inside h1. I can put it inside h2, inside p.
I put the attendance link there. They want to listen to what you're saying. What question to send attendance. Give them like a minute.
Okay. So the attendance have been posted for those who want to go and sign the attendance. Should I let me give you guys a minute? Just 9:15. I'll continue. I'll continue with the presentation. Sorry. The okay, the in-call messages. The in-call messages. The in-call messages. Yeah, if you are using your phone, there should be three dots. You will see. Click on those three dots. Then you see in-call messages. Click on that. You are going to see the form. It was posted by Blaze.
Remember, before after the call, you send them a HTML crash course so that they can use it to do access.
All right. All right. So, all right. Yes, after teaching you guys the basics, we are going to work on project. Yes, yes, I recorded the call. I recorded the call, and I was editing it earlier today. That's why I've not been able to upload it. I was editing it to kind of add one or two stuff to it. So probably by the end of tomorrow, both this one and that of yesterday should be online.
Yeah. Hey guys, can you guys hear me? Please, if you're in here, turn off your camera because some people don't have it. All right? Yeah, thank you.
So have you not been able to create your LinkedIn? Okay, so here is how you get your LinkedIn URL, right? You go to your profile. Let me. Are you on your phone or on your laptop? Which one?